Welcome to the EOB podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I am Ben No, and joining me is Sin Duong. Hey, Sin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everyone.
Hey, I almost mispronounced your name.
After knowing me for what, over 20 years or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, no, it just proves that I'm just throwing this in there just to prove that we're live. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. We're doing this on a Tuesday afternoon. We couldn't do this on Monday because we had other stuff going on.
Right.
So let's get this thing going. Coming number one, Age of Ultron repeated.
Yeah, not surprisingly.
Coming in number one with 77.7 million.
The drop off isn't too bad, it's about 60%. And after 2 weeks, it's already made 313 million on a budget of 250 million. And worldwide, it's at 876 million. And that's like after just 2 weeks. So it's looking really good, even though it's domestically it's kind of fall behind the first Avengers. I think the first Avengers by this time have already made 376 million. But the first Avengers, it did well overseas, but I think because of how fast the Chinese market has grown, and the new Avengers hasn't even opened in China yet. And it's already at 876 million, so it looks like it'll probably eventually, even though it won't make nearly as much as the first Avengers domestically, worldwide it'll probably surpass it.
Yeah, I mean, now the global market or the worldwide market is, I don't know, is it kind of like 2 or 3 times as big as the domestic market here? Sometimes you see the numbers here, it's like, oh, it's only like 300 million here. But then, like overseas, like worldwide numbers is like 1 billion, just like the Fast and Furious movie, the latest Furious 7.
And well, usually it has been around the international market has been around 2 to 3 times domestic market for a while, but now it could be 4 to 5 times as much because of China. You're talking 10 years ago. A high-grossing movie, 30 million is considered blockbuster in China. Now it's like 300 million, 400 million.
Right. Okay, we don't want to get too much into China, or else we're going to end up talking about China again. So in any case,
So Avengers is not going to make nearly as much as the first film domestically, but worldwide it looks like it's on pace to make more. We'll see. The first Avengers made 620 something million in the US domestically. Age of Ultron
it won't catch it.
Yeah, well, definitely not catch it. But I wonder if they'll make like 450 million or 500 million.
Let's see. By the way it's going, it's only in the second week and it already crosses 300 million, and the summer is coming.
Yeah.
I think it'll stay in theaters for a while. So another 100 million is pretty much in the bank.
Yeah, yep. But will we make another 200 million?
Another 200 million. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, hard to say. Yeah, it could still get there.
It's still, like we say, it still could. It's one of those movies that people would eventually want to watch. I mean, it's still young. I mean, the summer season, right?
Yeah, and 60% drop off isn't too bad for a film that opened so huge.
Right, you're talking about 60% drop off, but it still made over 70 million.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. So it's doing quite well. So okay, something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Let's move on to Hot Pursuit, the Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara comedy. It debuted at number 2 with nearly 14 million. The per screen average is so-so. It's like about 4,600, which is kind of not great, but not a dud either. Just kind of so-so. What numbers were we putting it at?
Oh, you were actually your range was pretty good. You had it at 10 to 15 million. I said it would make 15 to 20. So we're kind of borderline there.
It's right in the middle. Yeah, it's right in the middle of what we. It's on the higher end of my prediction and on the lower end of your prediction.
Yeah, I thought it has the potential to do better, but I think
the reviews only didn't help. What is it? 6% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty bad.
And And I think the cinema score was like a C plus or something, which is
Yeah.
pretty bad, which is kind of like an F. Your average cinema score usually starts at B plus, and this gets a C plus, which is kind of weird. You know.
Yeah, like 6% on Rotten Tomatoes is kind of like Paul Blart territory.
And a cinema score of C plus is that also Paul Blart territory?
No. Paul Blart has a B minus.
Oh, B minus. So it's even worse than Paul Blart on a word of mouth basis. So it looks like it's a film that might drop like a brick next week. But then when you look at all the films, it's one of the few comedies out there, and the only comedy targeted at women.
Well,
So maybe it'll hold up.
I don't know because during the last podcast we said Hot Pursuit is kind of old school. It's an old school comedy where it's pretty much like a buddy comedy, except they just use women instead of men. And I'm not sure if these kind of comedies, when you put women in, it's in vogue anymore. I think it might do better if it's about guys, but with women, I don't think it's enough. So I think why was the box office figure so low?
I don't know about that though. I mean, I think at the end it depends on which two people you put together. Like if you put together Melissa McCarthy and Sandra Bullock, you get a huge hit. Whereas you put Reese Witherspoon, and Sofia Vergara. Reese Witherspoon has kind of lost her draw at the box office, and Sofia Vergara, although hugely popular on TV, hasn't really translated to the movies. So I think you put two people who are not huge draws at the box office to begin with, and the film was so poorly received critically and by the audience. I wouldn't put it as, hey, putting two women in a comedy that you usually see two men in. I wouldn't put that as the main reason why it didn't perform well. Because if that's the case, The Heat, the Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy film wouldn't have done so well. I think in this case is probably just the material and the two stars that were put together.
Yeah, I have to say that it is actually the material because like Hot Pursuit, I didn't see anything in it that would suggest that it's kind of edgy. It doesn't have an edge to it. Like it's
I don't think it's
safe of a comedy.
I don't think the edge even matters because The Heat wasn't that edgy.
You have Melissa McCarthy, throwing F-bombs, and then you have her, playing, I guess, against type.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's kind of like Melissa McCarthy has always been like broad comedy, like fart jokes and fat people jokes and
right. I'm saying that kind of material appeals to more people. I'm saying this is what I'm saying. Hot Pursuit is just too safe, it seems.
Well, no, I won't say that though, because Melissa McCarthy is funnier than Reese Witherspoon, and Sandra Bullock is funnier than Sofia Vergara. So I think it's more like, you can't just randomly put two women together in a movie and expect it to be a hit. I think it depends on the stars you put together and the material. In this case, the material, like you said, is pretty bad.
Okay, I think we'll leave it at that.
All right.
And see how it did the second weekend, which we probably know that will drop pretty badly.
Yeah.
So how about we move on to number 3? The Age of Adaline, coming in at 5.8 million, a 6.1% drop, which is quite rare.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. It's made nearly 32 million so far after 3 weeks, and it's holding up pretty well. I forgot what the budget is. Did we read somewhere that it was a decently high budget, right?
We don't know. It was the longest ride where we recently
found okay. So we don't know, right?
Yeah.
But 32 million after 3 weeks, and it's holding up really well. I wonder if the counter programming is finally working its magic, because other than action movies, where else are you gonna find like a love story for women?
Yeah, it took 3 weeks to work its magic.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it did take 3 weeks.
Although I suspect the budget for the Age of Adaline is somewhere in the 40 million range.
Yeah, mainly because whenever you have to do a period piece, it's expensive.
Right.
Semi-expensive.
Right, yeah. But it held up quite well. 6.1% drop is I don't know, it's pretty good. I mean, it's a single.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
and it added more theaters as well. So finding its legs.
Yeah, we'll see how well it continues to hold up in the following weeks. Although I suspect it will hold up pretty well since this week is Mad Max, which is another big action movie.
Yeah, and I think for some a romantic comedy. I don't know. So competition there.
Right.
Okay, moving on to number 4 is Furious 7. It did 5.4 million over the weekend. I mean, it's 6 week, and it's already at 338 million domestic.
Yeah, and another surprisingly good hold, especially for an action movie that's in direct competition with Avengers. The drop off is only 19%.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of people are going to the movies and either watching Avengers or watching old stuff.
That's true, but then again, it's only like 5.4 million, and it's starting to lose theaters. So yeah, it's gonna stay in theaters for a bit, but then it's gonna make room for the newer stuff.
Yeah, I guess when Mad Max opens this week, you'll probably lose some theaters. Let's move on to number 5, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 at 5.3 million this week, and a drop off of only 10%. And after 4 weeks of release, it's already made 58 million at a budget of 30 million. So it's a profitable film for Sony. The only problem is at 58 million is nowhere near what the first film made, which is about 146 million. I'm not sure how Sony's going to view this. I mean, at a budget of only 30 million, they're going to make a profit, but at the same time, it didn't make nearly as much as the first one.
Right. So you're talking about sequel, right? So they have to think long and hard about Mall Cop 3 because like the first movie made like over 100 million or something like that, right?
146, I think.
Yeah. The second movie made less than that, and they have to run the numbers and say the third movie might make even less than the second movie.
Yeah. So I don't think there'll be a Paul Blart 3. I mean, it's going to be a profitable film. If they make it, it might go direct to video. And I don't think Kevin James will want to go direct to video.
At least not yet.
Yeah, at least not yet. Like, unless they can make another one for 30 million or even less.
Well, then again, like I say, we have to see how it did overseas. I mean, overseas is right now at 28 or 29 million, right?
Well, the thing with comedies is there's not a good overseas market for comedies because a lot of the humor doesn't translate.
Right. I'm saying there's a chance that
there's a chance.
There's like a 1% chance it could do well. Like they have to go to China, for example, to make the third one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's a genre that doesn't usually do well overseas.
Right.
All right, let's move on to number 6. I want to hear your pronunciation of the film on number 6.
Okay, number 6 is Ex Machina. I think it's a take on the Deus Ex Machina.
I saw a TV promo for it, which I'm surprised by.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the promos are online everywhere. So, okay, you finish your thing, and then I'm going to talk about my point.
Okay, I think the way they pronounced it was Ex Machina.
Okay.
It's not Machina. It's
kind of like but it's kind of like potato and potato. It's whatever they want it to be,
Yeah, true. But that's how they pronounce it on TV.
They were wrong. They were wrong.
So anyway, it's go ahead, finish your thought.
Oh, okay. So you're saying about this promo. You're seeing all this promo. Yeah, they're spending a lot on online promo. So then you see they added more theaters. When I say that it would expand to more theaters, and it did. And there's a jump in the box office as well, like 53% jump with additional theaters. It made 3.5 million over the weekend. It's now in over 2,000 theaters, but it still made only 15.7 million, so far.
Right. So even after the expansion, it doesn't look like it's. We'll see how well it holds up in the next couple of weeks. But 3.5 million is still kind of low, and I mean the reviews are great. It's 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm not sure what the cinema score is.
Well, you know what? I think this movie it's gonna linger in the bottom half of the top 10 box office for quite a while, because I
Mhm.
think there's gonna be word of mouth. They're gonna check it out. It's one of these art house movies that people say you gotta watch because of the reviews and everything. Say, oh yeah, it's a low budget sci-fi movie. You gotta watch it. And and there's not a lot of stuff in the art house right now.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna hold. Okay.
All right, we'll see.
Okay.
I'm curious though. 91% on the tomato meter.
Right, but
Curious to
we
search it
know that
out.
reviews don't necessarily translate into like huge box office. Right, there's a lot of
Yeah,
these indie movies that are very well reviewed, but they're not like mass appeal
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
You know?
Reviews do affect a lot of indie movies.
Right, and
Because that's their only. That's almost like one of the few only like free promotion.
this is a sci-fi movie in name only. Really, it's just a woman dressed up in as a machine. This is more like a drama, and they explore things that's normally explored in these kind of topics. About what it is to be human, etc., etc.
Right. Kind of like that. Kind of like horror maybe, except more.
Right, more serious.
All right. Although the promo make it seem like there's an action element and
There
there's
is,
a
but come on, this
horror
is
element to it.
right, but it's like all these things about machines becoming more human, about human
And then
tendencies,
turning on
etc.
us.
Right, things
Yeah.
like that. But still,
Mhm.
it's one of these things where it is sci-fi in name only. You don't see normally when we think of sci-fi, we think of like special effects, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't, I don't think, has anything like that.
I see what you mean. This is more of a cerebral type.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's move on to number 7, Home, with 3 million. It held up relatively well. Only 11% drop off, and it's made 162 million total so far. The worldwide figure is at 330 million. It's one of the few bright spots for DreamWorks animation in recent years, and it's continuing to go.
Yeah, we have to see because, like, if the trend holds, it's more like, oh, they have a hit and they have a couple of duds.
Yeah. Here's the thing with home though. I'm curious to see how well it'll continue to do overseas because the overseas total is 330 million. I don't think it opens in China yet.
I think it
But
did. It had the China
oh, did
figure.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Okay. See, here's the thing. I mean, I think Home is considered a decent sized hit for DreamWorks, but worldwide, I think Penguins made more. Penguins, I think, made like even though it disappointed domestically only made about 83 million,
Mm-hmm.
but worldwide they made 373 million. So on a worldwide level, Penguins is still way ahead of Home.
Yes. Well, overseas market for Penguins is 290. For
Yeah.
home, it's only 168.
I wonder how they're going to view that because most people see the domestic figure and go, "Whoa, Home is a huge hit," and at the end it might not do as well as Penguins on worldwide, and Penguins is kind of considered a disappointment.
Penguin is a disappointment considering that it's a spin-off of a well-known series.
Yeah,
And
on a domestic level, it's disappointing. I think on worldwide level, 375 million is nothing to scoff at.
right, but then again, you also get less money in overseas market, right? But
Yeah.
with home, I can see why it's lower. Its foreign take is lower because it really is a new property, right? So
Right.
but then it's closing in. Like it made similar amount, and that it's okay. I think maybe the sequel would do better. I would suspect.
So we'll see. The sequel will probably do better worldwide. Yeah, they always seem to do better worldwide.
Right. But yeah, I mean, 162 million for domestic is pretty good already, right?
Yeah.
As you say, they're gonna probably make more, since it is DreamWorks MO. The foreign market could be stronger, but again, it's a new property, it's a new idea, new story. So they're gonna use that to build off, and I think it's gonna do better, and it's a good thing for DreamWorks.
True. Although I'm just curious to see how they view it though. Penguins actually made more worldwide.
You know what? How they view it? Thank God it's not Turbo.
Let me see how much Turbo did worldwide. See, Turbo again made 83. See, Turbo worldwide made 282 million. I mean, still, not nearly as much as Penguins.
Yeah, but like I say, they get to take more of the money when it's domestic. When the domestic grows
Yeah,
are higher, right? Because of the
yeah,
way the money are split.
yeah,
And I'm sure they're pretty happy that they have some good news to report to shareholders. Saying, hey,
yeah,
Home did this much. And they don't have
yeah,
to
yeah.
write down the movie.
Yeah, right. Sometimes what people don't see is they see the domestic figure, and maybe because it isn't released timely in the worldwide market, they see
Mm-hmm.
the domestic figure and then they think it's a disappointment. But when it's all said and done, I think DreamWorks might be pretty happy with the 373 million that Penguins of Madagascar made. And by the end of its run, on a worldwide level, Penguins might make more than Home, and Home is considered a huge success,
Mm-hmm.
whereas
Mm-hmm.
Penguins is considered a disappointment.
Yeah, I think they're making Madagascar 4 or
Yeah,
5, one of those things.
yeah, they are, but I wonder if they're going to make another Penguins movie.
Not sure.
Because
but
when you look at it on a worldwide level, it might eventually it might do better than Home.
yeah, but judging by what you said, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, because
Yeah.
if Need for Speed and Pacific Rim, both of which disappointed domestically, or getting sequels because of the worldwide figure, why not Penguins, right?
Yeah.
So people might view it as, oh, Home is DreamWorks' big comeback, but Penguins is on a worldwide level is actually kind of a decent comeback too. Make 3x of budget, which is pretty good.
Yeah, let's move on to number 8, Woman in Gold.
Mhm.
1.7 million over the weekend. It has a 8.4% increase in its box office figures over the previous
And
weekend.
yeah, and it made 27 million after 6 weeks of release, and a budget of just 11 million. I'm surprised by how well it did. This is considered a pretty huge hit, especially since it's considered an indie film. It's by the Weinstein Company. The biggest star is Helen Mirren. Well, Ryan Reynolds is in it too, and Katie Holmes,
Mm-hmm.
but still. I'm surprised by how well it's doing, despite kind of mediocre reviews. I think on Rotten Tomatoes, it's only around 50%.
Well, here's the thing. There's the Liam Neeson genre, and I think there is actually a Helen
Helen
Mirren
Mirren
genre.
genre?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, all right. Maybe
I
there
mean,
is. Yeah,
yeah. Although it's not as big as the Liam Neeson genre, it's doing
right, right,
okay.
right. That's true. Hey, who knows? I guess maybe there is a Helen Mirren genre. She did do the 100-foot journey, which made 54 million. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe there's a hidden Helen Mirren genre that we're not aware of.
Right, and like Red too, right? She's a major
Yeah,
part.
good catch there.
All right, yeah. It's not Bruce
Right.
Willis, Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I think that's all we have to say about Women Gold, right? Let's
Hmm.
move on to number 9, Cinderella. Made 1.7 million over the weekend in its 9th week, and it's already at 196 million domestic.
I think Disney will probably keep it in theaters until it crosses the 200 million mark domestically.
Yeah, and it looks like it can cross easily.
Yeah, yeah. And you know how we were talking before about budget and how many times it's making worldwide. Cinderella's budget is 95 million, and it's made nearly 5 times its budget, which is very, very good on a worldwide level and a
Right.
domestic level.
And the thing is, like, they didn't do this with like a big star like Johnny Depp or anyone like that.
But still, they did put money in it. 95 million is
Oh yeah,
pretty
yeah,
decent.
because of the sets and everything, right?
Yeah, right.
You don't have one singular guy or woman taking up like a huge chunk of the budget.
Right. Should we move on to number 10?
Yeah, number 10, Unfriended. So it made 1.4 million over the weekend, and it's so far it's already doing 30 million domestic.
Yeah,
Budget
the
of
budget of just
1
1
million.
million. Talking about budget versus how well it's doing. That's like, even on just a domestic level, is 31 times its budget. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I were to start a movie studio production company, I would just concentrate on horror movies. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, that's what New Line was. That's how New Line got started. They just focus on making cheapy horror movies.
Right, it's profitable.
Yeah.
if you want to make money, do horror movies.
Yeah, and then they got bought out by Warner Brothers, and then they kind of try to turn themselves into WB. I think sometimes you grow. They probably grew as big as they can grow. As a studio focusing on horror movies. Sometimes when you try to expand beyond that, it doesn't work as well.
Well, it's just all simple numbers, right? When you make a movie for like over 100 million or so, like with some of the things that New Line did, right? It
Yeah,
kind of fails.
yeah. When you make these big budget movies, sure, when you get a hit, you make a lot of money. But when you get a bomb, you also lose a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. And horror
Yeah.
movies, I'm not sure if I know of any horror movies that lost money.
They're probably all, but we probably didn't hear about
Yeah, I mean, I'm
it.
sure that like the big budget ones, like once they
Yeah,
take themselves too seriously, say, hey, this is a franchise, we gotta be
yeah,
serious about this, and let's hire some big name actors and other
yeah.
stuff.
No.
Okay, that's it for the top 10.
Remember the D Train? Remember some
Yeah.
of the D Train? A horrible bomb.
Yeah, we were like saying 2 million, and it made
Yeah,
like even less than that.
yeah. Only about $500,000
Yeah.
with a per screen average of only $400.
Yeah.
Which is pretty bad.
And it would only go down from there. Yeah, it's the thing is like they didn't really know what they have here, or maybe they did know, and they just kind of like dump it in over 1,000 theaters, and
Well, it's kind of an odd premise, yeah. Like Jack Black is kind of a comedy, but it's kind of like a black comedy, and him and James Marsden, they had a one-nighter or something, and then he got obsessed with him.
yeah,
A
it's yeah,
one night stand. I mean, it's
it gets
not
weird. It
exact.
gets weird.
Yeah, not exactly the kind of movie that you would go, hey man, let's grab a bunch of your friends and go out and watch.
Right, right, and it's probably not that funny, and it probably make people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Is there another one of those films that kind of opened semi-wide but kind of completely bombed?
Oh, you mean
Oh,
something like Child 44 and True Story?
oh, right, yeah. But not anymore this weekend. Oh
No,
well,
no.
hey Maggie,
Yeah. Oh,
Maggie,
let's talk.
the
Yeah,
the
let's talk about
Arnold
Maggie.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah, the Arnold Schwarzenegger indie film opened at it's kind of is it a horror film?
It is a horror film,
Oh, okay, yeah,
but it's more like horror drama. But there are zombies.
yeah. Opened at 79 theaters and didn't do that well. Made 131,000.
Okay, here's the problem with it, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger and indie movies are kind of like mutually exclusive. Anyway,
Arnold Schwarzenegger and horror movies are also mutually
right, and
exclusive.
and they're asking Arnold to act.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't ask Arnold to act; it's not going to end well. And that's what we have with Maggie here, right? This is one of the movies where he signed up for post his governor days, right? Once when he left office, and movies, I don't even remember what they are. Didn't do that well at the box office, right? The one that he did solo.
Sabotage.
Yeah,
Sabotage didn't do that well.
And the one about escaping from prison.
The one with you mean the one with Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
Wait, is that Escape Plan?
Yeah,
Wait,
probably Escape Plan. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's Maggie, which did even worse. I mean, they released it about to 79 theaters or so. They just kind of like dump it there.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things where it's in their contract. They had to release it. They probably didn't want to release it.
Yeah, I know.
But you know what? On Rotten Tomatoes, 51%, which is surprisingly high. I'm sure 51% isn't anything to brag about, but it's kind of like better than expected.
I know, but look, you don't pay Arnold Schwarzenegger for his acting, and they're asking him to act here, and no one's you know what people pay to see Arnold Schwarzenegger in, they need to see a gun in his hand and beat down people, but he's at age where he it's not believable for him to do that anymore.
Right. Wow, Arnold's career is like complete downhill. Even the Expendables, the last one didn't do that well, and his solo efforts haven't done well. I'm not sure what else he can do. Well, I guess he's in the latest Terminator movie. We'll see how well that does.
Ooh, yuck! I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the brand is still strong, I think.
Yeah.
But
But Arnold doesn't seem to have much of a career anymore. Pretty much every one of his latest films bombed or disappointed.
Well, when he was huge, right? He has his body going for him. He's this big muscle guy,
Yeah.
and he fits the role, right? And James Cameron know how to use that.
Let's look at his last couple of films, like The Last Stand, only 12 million domestically. Escape Plan, only 25 million, but surprisingly, Escape Plan did really well overseas. Worldwide, they made nearly 140 million, which is pretty good. But still, on a domestic level, only 25 million. And Sabotage only did 11 million. So he's in direct-to-video territory now. He's either direct-to-video or TV.
I'm not sure if people even want to watch him on TV. I think his political career did a number on his acting career. Like people actually hate Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because what he did to California, or while he was serving as governor of California. That thing with Marie,
I don't know about
and all those things.
Yeah, the illegitimate child. Yeah.
Yep.
That kind of his image was pretty clean before. Well, semi-clean. Like they were able to hide some of his transgressions.
Right. I mean, before he was just an actor, right?
Yeah.
Now he really affected people's lives when he was governor. And there's some stuff that he did that wasn't looked very kind upon.
Although Stallone didn't do too bad, he was in a direct-to-video territory for a little bit until he kind of resurrected his career by writing and directing another Rocky movie, The Expendables, another Rambo movie. So who knows? Maybe Stallone can make something else happen.
No.
Arnold doesn't seem like he has much else going.
Well, the reason why Stallone was able to resurrect his career is because he, write his own thing, his own stuff.
Yeah, he can write, he can direct, he can get his own projects going. Whereas Arnold is pretty limited, as he's just the actor.
Well, and then he couldn't even act. That's the thing.
Well, I'm using actor as in he's a star in his movie.
Oh, some guy who
not
on
like,
screen. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, not like somebody who can actually act. Right.
But if you can act, then you're kind of limited in your role. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
Like in Maggie, right? He's supposed to be he plays a father whose daughter, I guess, slowly turning into a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to show emotions, right?
Although reading some of the pull quotes from the reviews, they did say it's his best acting performance.
Okay.
So far, I mean that might not be saying much, but they did praise his. He did try to act, and I guess most critics did think that he did a decent job.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, before I said 51% is surprisingly high. I mean, in the horror film genre, that's actually decent because most horror films tend to be panned by critics, and 51% is actually not too bad. And I guess critics do notice that Arnold did a decent job.
Okay, I will have to.
It doesn't help his box office prospects, obviously.
Okay. Oh well, you know what? I think long term this actually helps him because he has never been asked to act before. Right. And I think people still has an old image of him, like this big muscle guy who couldn't really act, who couldn't speak, who
Yeah.
And by being in these indies, I think it just built up his skills. I mean, he's using muscles that he hadn't used before. Right. And I think long term that he could turn into a decent actor. And I think he might not be one of these big, huge action stars anymore, but as a character actor, as someone who takes a back seat, and as a name, a recognizable name, I think he could do quite well down the line.
Yeah, or maybe he should start just doing supporting roles, kind of like what Harrison Ford has been doing.
Yeah, his box office figure is a supporting actor right now.
Yeah. Maybe now he can no longer open his own movies, but as a supporting character, he could do pretty well.
Yeah, I like I say, if he keep this up, he would actually get better as an actor. Mm-hmm. And I think his destiny, I guess, right now is supporting actor and indies. And maybe in action, if it's in an action movie, he takes a backseat to some younger guy.
Kind of like Terminator, the next Terminator movie, Terminator Genesis. Who's the star of it? The young guy.
Let's see. They have Jason Clarke, Emilia Clarke, Jai Courtney.
Yeah, Jai Courtney. Yeah, he was also in the Die Hard movie with
Right.
Bruce Willis.
Hmm.
So he's kind of carving out his own, like action star resume.
Kind of, but I don't see
Yeah.
him making it big.
Yeah, the last Die Hard didn't do that well domestically. But
Yeah.
worldwide it did pretty well. Worldwide it did well.
Oh yeah, yeah. But then again, like he had some other movies in. I don't see him breaking out.
Okay. Should we move on to next week's movies?
Okay, let's go to openings. We have Mad Max Fury Road and Pitch Perfect 2.
Mad Max is interesting. I saw the trailer, and the first thing I thought about was the trailer actually looks surprisingly like the Jet Li movie, Flying Swords of Dragon Gate by Hawk, except with cars. That film is about a bunch of badass martial artists who are stuck in a desert. A lot of the scenes are very similar, including the desert storms in the background, and except instead of horses, there's cars. And when I saw it, I'm like, whoa, they pretty much did a car version of the Flying Swords of Dragon Gate. I read that the budget for Mad Max is about 150 million.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly high. I mean, sure, the Mel Gibson Mad Max movies, they were popular, but I'm not sure how mainstream they are.
I guess there was a train or some car vehicles involved, and he did a lot of those. The vehicles. There were a lot of vehicles, and there were also reshoots, so that extended the time and money. So that's why it costs 150 million.
I guess Warner Brothers is expecting this to be a mega hit. At 150 million, you're expecting it to be one of the bigger summer hits. And I'm not sure, but Tom Hardy and Charles Lee Theron hasn't exactly been big box office draws, and I'm not sure if the original films have that huge of a following. At 150 million, this movie is going to have to open in the 50 million range.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this could either get new life into the Mad Max franchise, or it's going to be kind of like The Lone Ranger. 150 million. I kind of like the movie.
You mean the originals or the?
No. I mean Fury Road.
trailer?
I mean, the trailer.
Right.
It seems like it's one long chase, and it has another similarity to these Jet Li movies, right? Where they use the environment. You see all these ladder fights, in these warehouses, and for Fury Road, it's kind of like, oh, let's see all these things they can do on a moving car.
Right.
Like how many fight scenes they can do on a moving car.
Right.
That's essentially what it is. One long road chase, and then people jumping out of vehicles, hanging on ropes, what have you. There's even an electric guitar guy playing.
But I'm surprised by the 150 million budget, though. I guess because with that kind of budget, we would have to open in the 50 to 60 million range. And it would have to have legs to make back 150 million at the domestic box office. But you know what it has going for it?
What?
With 50 reviews already, it's 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm pretty surprised by. Number one, it's an action movie, and action movies tend not to be well reviewed. Number two is a reboot. Reboots tend not to be well reviewed, and this is a action movie and a reboot, and it's getting 98% on the tomato meter with 50 reviews. That's very high. I think it can make 50 to 60.
I read a report that says that like Fury Road and Pitch Perfect 2 might make like over 40 million or higher. So
both of them?
Yeah.
I don't know about Pitch Perfect 2, but
no. Pitch Perfect 2 is going to do well. You have Fury Road at 40 to what again? 40 to 50?
No, 50 to 60.
Oh, 50 to 60. Oh my God. Okay, that's huge. I am actually going to go lower. I think it's going to do probably in the 40s.
Okay, in the 40s?
Yeah, let's do 40. Because even though it's an R-rated action movie, it has competition from, Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Others. Even though there's good buzz, I think people might be looking for something else. So 40.
Right, 40. 50 to 60.
Okay.
In that range.
Okay. Pitch Perfect 2. The first film opened to 15 million It was
Oh.
limited before, right? It opened a couple of theaters and then expanded to
Oh.
more, and it has a 15 million opening when it opened wide.
And it eventually grows 65 million, so very leggy. Was the first one well reviewed? Oh yeah, the first one was pretty well reviewed, 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. And this one is so far 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see how many reviews. Only about 25 reviews so far, which is not bad. So this film looks like it was very leggy, had good word of mouth. It started at limited. When it opened wide, it did open pretty well, 15 million.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you thinking?
Well, here's the thing, right? Unlike Hot Pursuit, this is the comedy I think that the young people are looking for. Like it has this edge. You know, it appeals to the younger group. It's not old school, as I'm saying, right? And it has these people appealing characters, and it's benefited by PG-13. So it's actually gonna have more appeal than Fury Road, and it's gonna do a number on Hot Pursuit in the second weekend. So I'm probably going 45 to 50. That's what I'm gonna go.
Whoa, you're gonna go that high?
I'm gonna go that high because I think it actually gained more fans in this second movie.
Yeah.
Because I've seen commercials for this during the NBA playoffs because they think this is gonna have mass appeal, and I think so as well.
Okay.
Like guys, like they're advertising it during a sporting event geared for guys. It's gonna be huge, I think.
Wow, 40 to 45 million views.
40 to 50.
40 to 50 million.
No, 45 to 50. So I'm gonna put it above.
Wow, that's huge, huh?
Yeah.
I'm going 25.
Yeah.
All right, 25 for Pitch Perfect 2 and the 50 million range. So 50 to 60 million range.
Okay.
For Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay. I think you're underestimating the appeal of Pitch Perfect 2.
Yeah, I probably am.
Because again, like I say, this is one of those female comedies that appeals toward the younger group, unlike Hot Pursuit.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it going there, but that's too huge of a jump for me.
Oh, okay.
Seeing that the first film, when it opened wide, only opened to 15 million, and I know it was leggy and it had great word of mouth, and it probably developed a following on video. And you could be right, but I think from 15 million to 45 to 50 million is too huge of a jump for me.
No, I'm serious. This is the perfect date movie.
All right.
Like I say, I'm sure there are people who thinks that Fury Road is a romantic comedy, maybe. But Pitch Perfect 2 is where it's at.
I don't know, man. All I see are women. I don't think a guy would be like, "Hey, let's go watch Pitch Perfect 2."
You don't see the appeal of people, watching, women in a woman comedy.
Well, I see the appeal of women going to a woman comedy.
Or men of comedy to a woman to a comedy. So
I could see it being split. I could see it going, "Hey, you go watch Pitch Perfect 2. I'll go watch Mad Max."
All right.
And then we'll meet up afterwards.
All right. Okay, let's come back next week and see.
And see who's right.
Right. At the end, I'm going to be there saying, I told you so. Pitch Perfect 2 is going to make even more than Fury Road, because it's a broad appeal.
All right. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. We come back, and I'm going to tell you so. Okay.
All right. See you guys next week, and we'll see who's right.
All right, let's come back next week and hear me tell Senh how wrong he is.